Man, all right.
Let me tell you what you guys missed on the break. desRow breathing really heavy into his mic, not realizing it was
What happened
on,
to
and
my
then
overlay?
squealing like a girl because Nathaniel wouldn't pick up the phone.
Come on, man. Don't be.
Uh,
Yeah,
Hey, you went on a serious shopping spree in Sweden, didn't you?
so I got just not actually too much.
Ah,
I
you,
got
you got a you
I
got a
got
turtleneck sweater. I saw the
I got
turtleneck
I got
sweater.
this one. I got one of these. I got one of these in blue, in a darker blue, and I got one of these in red, and I got the green turtleneck sweater that you saw. So
Oh,
it's like a really weird style of hoodie. I don't know, some European thing.
you're looking good,
People
man.
seem to like it. Thank you.
Yeah, you're looking good.
Dude, yeah, you look like
Oh,
a badass sitting with the Muslim for frag bite. You got that,
yeah, man.
it almost looked like, there's a picture someone snapped of you on the train or whatever, dude. You look like you were gonna go climb Mount Everest. I mean, Jesus.
I'm working on it, man. These Swedes, they know fashion.
um, guess this is a mess.
Did you? I mean, did you? I guess can they hear us yet? I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, of
Yeah.
course they can. Yeah, yeah, I
All
started
right, I was
recording.
like, wasn't sure if you wanted me to like go in on DreamHack or
Yeah, yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
'Cause
talk
I guess
to
you
us,
guys
man.
already covered that.
Yeah, no, but
I
just
don't
your
know.
experience, like favorite
The ex-
game, favorite
the ex-
moment. Did you meet like sexy fans?
Well, you
Kane
know
did.
how it is, desRow.
Oh
It's
yeah,
hard,
Kane
man.
did, and I sent him a message. I'm like, "Who's the cutie?" And then he sent back his selfie. I was pleased, but
Kane had quite a catch, to say the least, at DreamHack. Yeah, I don't know. I thought it was pretty awful the first 2 days because the games were all just really bad. Like just 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, 3-0, and obviously I was really excited for 4GG because anybody who knows me, like all the builds and stuff that I do tutorials on are all 4GG builds.
Yeah,
I watch
dude.
your stream all the
hey,
time.
wasn't your three-port Banshee from 4GG or something? Or you gave
No, no,
him
no, no,
to?
no.
No.
No. I made it's a 4-port Banshee, and I made the 4-port Banshee. Okay, that is my build.
All right.
But yeah, outside of that, the finals I thought were awesome because 4GG managed to do it without doing any of like the stuff that makes people hate Terran right now. Like, oh, well, his Widow Mines won him the game. It's because when you play mech, it's usually not about Widow Mines, right? So it was a pretty, I'd say, well-earned victory, and whether or not Life practiced against mech, it was his fault for being, unprepared like that.
Yeah, it was a little bit crazy how easy it looked for 4GG at times. Like Life was really scratching his head and not sure where to go. So guys, let's jump into Legacy of the Void custom mod. Legacy of the Void custom mod came out last week, the same day of Remax, but last day we were talking about balance, so I didn't want to cover it. We didn't talk about it at all. So it's the release. Everything up to this point is pretty close to the BlizzCon build. They fixed a lot of things that were wrong, such as the Ravager having a very insane AoE, and the Disruptor doing splash to each other and so on.
Well,
But
before,
yeah, before we get too deep, like we're not. That's the thing. We're not getting too deep because not everyone on the panel has played it. But I just want to talk about the role of the mod and the general thoughts of everyone about the mod and if it's a good thing, if it's a bad thing, and so on. So Kevin, why don't you open up?
Wait, now you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Sorry, I muted my
Yeah.
microphone because I was typing real quick. I haven't played the Legacy of the Vault mod yet, or the mod yet. That's what you're asking me, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay, well, we spoke about this in the Skype call when we were watching DreamHack together.
Yes.
To me, it kind of feels like it spoils the surprise of really playing Legacy of the Void and truly getting the whole new, unique experience. Because now you're kind of getting only half of it. You're getting some of the units, but you're playing it on the older interface, the older maps, and it's not 100% the same. Things will still change. I understand that people are really excited about the mod, and people think it's fun, and people think it's fun to watch. But me personally, especially because I've been in a position where I wasn't able to play StarCraft for a while, so I'm having crazy amounts of fun just playing normal, regular StarCraft, Heart of the Swarm, and also this is my first week that I'm actually playing on the Dream Pool, so for me that's just very fun, and I'm having a really good time with just
oh,
regular
Jesus.
StarCraft. and I don't really want to spoil the surprise of like the real Legacy of the Void. Maybe in 2-3 weeks, if I'm like, you know, if I really feel like okay, I want to do this now, I'll do it. But right now, I rather wait. Like I rather get the full surprise instead of like, or like the full experience instead of like a half-ass experience.
I didn't even realize, like, it never clicked with me that, like, Rotterdam plus Dreampool is going to be a good time. Like, these maps for Roddy builds, like...
Mate, I was having so much fun. This morning, I was able to do something that I haven't done yet before, because you play Metalopolis very, very few. It seems like almost everybody vetoes Metalopolis. I wonder why, but I don't veto any of the maps, because I really don't care about winning or losing, you know. It's just about having fun for me. And I finally, like, I played a Terran on Metalopolis, and I was like, oh my god, I can do the build that I once upon a time beat MMA with, which obviously should never ever happen in the history of StarCraft 2, because he's superior to me in every single aspect of this game. But you know, Void Ray all-ins on Metalopolis were so ridiculously imbalanced. It's like the most imbalanced thing in the history of StarCraft. So I was able to do it, and I don't know, I felt so much joy. It was like, you know, a kid who wasn't able to ride a bicycle for a year and then suddenly got a brand new bicycle. Like, it was amazing for me. So I'm having fun.
While you're talking about the dream pool, I have a question. Marinelord and Nathanius, and maybe even you, Roddy, you can answer. How does it feel to grind the ladder on the dream pool? It feels to me like the dream pool, like if you have a competitive mindset of like I will improve and I will play well and you know things will go like I'm like learning and improving for the long run. It feels to me like the dream pool is not that at all. But Marinelord, your thoughts on the dream pool? Do you play on it? Do you like it?
Yeah, I play a lot. I V2 Metalopolis, Xelnaga and Chakras. So I play like the most classic map, let's say.
Okay.
So yeah, it gives macro game, but it's not that balanced. And yeah, I just play because I don't have the choice. But when I found any custom games, I play custom games. And if I don't have the choice, I grind the ladder.
What about you, Nathanius? What are your thoughts on grinding the dream pool?
Oh, I mean, I took the opposite approach at first because I was like, well, this is a great opportunity to, you know, do stuff that never really happens. I had already practiced some games on like Metalopolis and whatnot before the season started, and so I vetoed like Cloud Kingdom, Akalon Wastes, and Daybreak. So, or actually no, Ohana. So I'd like occasionally play on like Cloud Kingdom. But yeah, I would do like 888 Reaper from my main, like on Xelnaga, and like the Zerg would try to counterattack or do something, and like it wouldn't be possible because there's like so many cliffs and shit. I don't know. I thought it was really fun, and then I was like, oh, okay, you know, I've got like a 70% win rate in all matchups. I'm like, let's try to play other games, and man, I'm so bad at the game right now because I'm 888ing people every single game for like a month. It's just I try to play, and everybody else is still cheesing too. So it's like, okay, I'm playing on Cloud Kingdom. Let's try Command Center first, and like Hellion Banshee. And the guy is like rushes out 9 roaches with Burrow as my first 2 Hellions come out. I'm like, so I'm really excited. I really hope we get new maps soon.
Yeah,
I want to go home. I want to go home, desRow. I want to go back to Whirlwind.
Yeah, that's kind of my feelings as well. I decided to play Terran just because, you know, I was like, okay, I don't feel like blink all-inning every game and I want to be productive. And I've never raged this hard. Like, I even, like, played a subscriber on ladder and I was like, fuck you, man. Why are you playing me? Like, your fuck Protoss is bullshit. I was getting really mad. So, guys, don't phrase too seriously. But no, Kevin, have you tried to grind on the Dream Pool or you're just like...
I mean, no, it's exactly like I said. You know, I had a bad PC for a while, and I had a lot of FPS drops, so I couldn't play. I was busy over the summer, had some other things going on in life, so I really didn't have time to actually sit down and play a lot of StarCraft. And now, ever since I got back to America, my new PC is ready. Thank you, Nate. Nate, it works fantastic. He put it together, so like I'm having a really, really good time. But I can understand, of course, you know that. And also, let's not forget, guys, I started this week. So maybe if you ask me in 3.5 weeks or in a month, how do I feel about the Dream Pool, then maybe I'm not as excited as I am right now. But, you know, the first 4 or 5 days, it's awesome, man. 11 gate is freaking fantastic on all these maps. You run across the map and your stalker cancels the bunker and the command center. It's like, it's beautiful. I'm having fun, but, you know, I'm not a competitive StarCraft 2 player or at least, like, I don't make a living out of winning tournaments. So for me, it's just about enjoying the game and having a good time, and I'm definitely having a good time.
Okay, good. So going back into the Legacy of the Void custom mod, Kevin, will you play it at some point on stream, or you're just not gonna touch it even with a stick?
No, like I said, maybe in 2 weeks, if I have like 300-400 games of Dream Pool and I make GM, then I might give it a go if some people want me to play some Heart of the Swarm, Legacy of the Void. So I will probably give it a go, but it's not like, oh, I can't wait, because I already played Legacy of the Void, like the real thing at BlizzCon, and that was the real experience, and now it kind of feels like I'm taking a step back by trying to play this mod. So no,
Okay.
I'm okay with waiting for now, but maybe in 2 weeks after San Jose, and then I practice a bunch of games and I'm GM, then maybe I'll give it a go.
Okay, cool. What about you, Marinelord? I expect you to have sort of the same opinion as Rotterdam, but maybe I'm wrong. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think the same basically.
Oh.
I don't like that much trying a game that is not a real game out yet, so I prefer to wait to the beta to come out, then I will try.
Okay. What about you, Nathanius? Have you touched it? Have you watched it? Are you planning to touch it?
Oh, I mean, like, touching it, sometimes you gotta ask yourself if you should, whether or not you can. But in this particular instance, I haven't had a chance to play around with it just yet. I'm kind of excited to. Like, if it's something that... So for me, because I'm pretty busy. Like, if I'm streaming, if I'm playing games, if I have time to do that, I'm streaming right now. Because otherwise I'm, like, walking around Stockholm or whatever. If it's something that I guess my stream viewers want to see, I'd probably play around with it. But it's difficult, of course, like with any custom game, or especially when like the old balance maps used to be out, like getting people of reasonable skill to play against you so that you can actually, have a real game is not that easy.
Yeah, that's very true.
I wouldn't really care to play it against Gold Leaguers, right? Like it's not going to be like real test anyway, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, we have Graham, who's already playing...
We're not going to talk about how I've beaten at least 3 NAGMs on Legacy of the Void. Okay, whatever, no big deal.
What? You did?
Yes!
How?
I
Who?
love this stupid... Because people don't understand how the game works yet. It's awesome.
So
it's
who
great.
did you beat?
Like Zan and Love and a couple... I guess not Love anymore, but we were playing other games. If you guys actually caught the drunk stream the other night, it was pretty stupid, but... I gotta say, like, as much as everyone's taking this approach of, like, we don't want to touch it till it's finalized, I totally understand that, like, 100%. But at the same time, I've been having a hell of a time watching players like Crank just kind of react to, like, the units more than anything else. Like, just that one-off moment when he drops a disruptor and you're like, oh! Like, they're pretty funny moments for how ridiculously imbalanced the game is right now. We threw some show matches, actually, just for DreamHack. I don't know if you know what that does, desRow, but...
Yeah, that's what I was going to mention, man.
Yeah, so we threw some show matches just before DreamHack, just absolutely for fun. There's like, we put up $50 for best of 3. It wasn't meant to be like super high stakes or a big tournament, just for some fun stuff to get a feel for it so people could see the mod and stuff. And we had like Cats, we had State, Hurston and Caliber played a 2v2 versus Guitar Cheese and Trace. And then we had Arium versus Intense, I think, play too. And like half these guys didn't even play the regular race. They were just experimenting and having fun. But the amount of weird stuff that happened was just awesome and different, and I think that's where a lot of the enjoyment for this is going to come. Like, whether it's a flavor of the week thing, or whether it's something that people are actually going to enjoy continuing to stream, I don't know. But it has, I've noticed, like, a lot of people who don't normally have, like, 500, 700 viewers are suddenly getting a lot of viewers doing the Legacy of the Void stuff. So it's definitely fun to watch, or at least the reactions of your favorite players to the stuff that happens.
Yeah. Personally, I think if you like want to end your life because of the Dream Pool, then the Legacy of the Void custom mod is just like a gift coming from heaven. Personally, I had a lot of fun, but that's a point that Nathanius brought up. It's like quality opponents is really hard to get. And so, like, if you just end up, like, even if you're off race and you play someone who's like Diamond or Plat, it's not the same. But the work that Jack Attack has been putting into the mod is really remarkable. I'll put the link of the thread in the chat. He's just been doing quite a lot. He's been updating it. He's been in talk, I think, with Blizzard. He's just been doing a lot of stuff with it, and it's really cool. It's a little bit like Starbow. Although I never liked Starbow, but it's a little bit like Starbow. Like it's sort of a new community that's gathering and trying to just enjoy StarCraft in some way, in a different way. But yeah, guys, that wraps up our Legacy of the Void custom mod. We haven't had a lot of games. I mean, I played on the maps they made, some of the maps they designed for it. They were pretty good, but it's like too early to tell which kind of maps you're gonna need with that kind of economy. Are they gonna go back on that economy?
Actually,
sorry, go ahead.
I just want to throw a little PSA in here too.
Yeah.
A lot of people actually don't know this. You can make the mod on any map, guys.
Yeah.
You don't have to load the arcade. Like if you want to play it on Frost or Polar Night or Overgrowth, like you can do that by just creating it as a mod, not looking through the arcade for it.
And actually, I had a lot of fun going back on a lot of old maps. You know, like Clonoros Tier. You know, one with the bridge in the middle. And
Clontismire.
Yeah.
Clontismire.
Yeah, or Backwater Gulch. I did a ZVZ with Winter, with Mass Ravager. That was a lot of fun. So you can go wild with that. Cause it
Actually, what I feel really bad about is I know every person I talk to at BlizzCon from Blizzard is so hyped about the Lurker coming back. And out of all the streams I've watched and all the games I've played and all the games I've seen, there's not a single person who's making Lurkers.
Yeah, why would you?
Nobody wants to touch that unit.
Ravagers are like totally insane right now.
Yeah, they are. It makes sense, but it's just funny because I feel really bad for all the people at Blizzard. They're like, oh man, I can't wait for everybody to use the Lurker. And it's like, nobody touches it.
Yeah. It kind of didn't... Well, the Ravager kills buildings and stuff, so...
Yeah,
and it breaks force
damage is
fields, so...
insane.
Yeah, but it breaks force fields, man. It's the biggest Zerg boner, like, across history.
Yeah, you thought roach pressure was initially annoying, man. Now these things can actually auto-attack with, like, more hit points while simultaneously, like, basically auto-casting that fucking missile thing.
They attack faster than roaches,
And
too.
they have more range, too. 6.
Yeah.
And they walk faster, too.
They're like the Zerg Warhound, man.
Alright, moving on.
Do you believe in a thing called the New Roach?
Yeah, gonna have the Roddy Sanford updates, version 2.0. Dude, side note, do you know about the Roddy Sanford Twitch account?
Yeah, he actually subscribed to my streamers.
Yeah, this
Subscribe to
guy,
my
he's
stream.
same here. Yeah, I love the commitment to the bit. He has never said a single thing that wasn't like a Roddy Sanford. Like, that guy is committed.
Yeah, this fucking guy, like earlier today, I was like walking around with my stalkers, and I run my stalkers into Widowmatch, and he's like, very bad micro. And I was like,
That's actually pretty good. It's like those novelty accounts on Reddit, but for Twitch. Props to that guy, for sure. Before we go on to talking about IEM San Jose, which is our last topic of the day,
Tinder later.
What?
Nate, Tinder can wait.
I was just got an email. That's all.
Oh.
Yeah, an email from a sweet honey.
Oh, Tinder does emails now? I didn't know.
If only.
Yeah. So before we move on to the IM topic, I just want to remind you guys to use the hashtag SC2Remax on Twitter if you have questions for guests. Nathanius was originally supposed to come on, but then he canceled. But then he's still here because he's got a lot of passions. So
the thing is, like, coming on would have been really easy, but in case you guys don't know, like, I've been doing the Fragbite Masters, and they wanted a little bit more time to make sure the player flights could get sorted out. So we just finished all the online portion of it today. So we had like 4 best of 5s instead of 2. So that's why I suddenly didn't have time to come on.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And also, you're avoiding clashing with IEM tomorrow, which is great for everyone involved.
There's IEM tomorrow. Oh, the open broadcast thing starts.
Yes. And let's get into that, actually.
Yeah. Cool. Let's talk about it. I'm sponsoring one of the players. Let's do it.
Yeah, actually, we didn't talk about Fragbite at all, so sorry, Fragbite. We love you. We'll cover you next week. So, yeah, you're sponsoring Puck, right?
Yeah, man.
That's pretty cool, because I know, is he still with IVD, or he's just teamless right now?
I believe he is, but it just didn't work out with them or whatever. So
I think IVD's like out of cash or something is the problem. Their sponsors pulled out.
Well,
right?
IVD is like, they told the player, like, we're dry, so you can leave, but if you want to stay, we'll try to make it work.
Yeah, I don't know if he's actually with them anymore, I guess, in that respect. I didn't even know about that.
Okay, yeah.
I think a lot of the guys are still hanging out. It's a place to be together, right? Friends that you made. So a lot of them are stuck around, but some have left to go Size from gaming.
Like VVV and whatnot, you know?
Yeah, but VVV was like I was on VVV for a week, man. They lied to me. They're like,
whole
yeah,
week? Damn.
yeah. They're like, hey, we'll get you. You'll have a hotel room with us. I'm like, okay. And then I'm about to book my stuff, and I'm like, so you got me covered for the hotel? They're like, no, you got to pay everything. But I'm like, well, I don't have the money. They're like, well, okay, you have to prove to us on land first. If you don't go, we're gonna have to kick you. Well, I'm like, well, I don't have the money, man. And so it was a very short week. VVV was crazy. Fuck VVV. Anyway, moving on.
Whoa.
Yeah. What? No, VVV screwed up a lot of people. Lord Jareth is like a 40-year-old creep who's really wrong on a lot of things. And anyway, that's...
Moving on.
You are so French though, because it's not like I would like to take a stance against VVV. It's like, so fuck VVV. Anyways, going to the next topic real quick. Just get it.
But no, but they have a very bad history. It's just we don't have the time to get into it. If anyone wants to know the bad history of VVV, they can PM me personally, and I'll go through the sources and I'll dig up everything for them. Anyway, moving on.
You vlog.
Yeah, sure. IEM, it's actually like a very long tournament, right? It's tomorrow, Thursday, and then Friday. The players are traveling from Burbank to San Jose. It's like a 5-hour bus. I was really excited to go, but I decided not to. But just the logistic of it is like it's gonna be a really cool experience for the players that make it. Like you get to hang out with people. Anyway, so tomorrow is the first open bracket. Is it both played at once? Is it?
It's a good question.
Yes, it is.
Like their dual tournament style, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's played on the same day. It's not played at once. You guys are going to have a community stream? You have any information, Rotterdam?
It's a good question.
I don't think so, because I'm usually the first person that
community
gets...
stream. I'm not working tomorrow. Why didn't anybody hit me up? What the heck?
Well, usually Farsight hits me up anytime something like that's available, and I've heard nothing. So if there is a community stream, they've already contacted somebody, and I would be shocked. I would be hurt straight up if it was someone other than me. So I think
since we have 2 days, if I look at it, actually it would be a little bit too much. Like technically you could play, because you don't have to play. It's too much, I think. I mean, you could do it in 1 day, but it's a lot of best of threes, that's for sure. I don't know. Maybe they'll do it in 1 day. Maybe they do rec by bracket, or indeed they do a couple of games side stage. Like I think at some IEMs they had like 4 dual tournaments, and then obviously you have multiple streams. With only 2, like you could do this in 1 day, but it's a lot of series because we have done 8 best of 5s in a day, so I guess you can do like 11 or 12 best of 3s, but. It would be a lot of soccer. I think a couple of games will probably be played on the side stream, but it's kind of weird they didn't contact anybody about it. I'm sorry, guys. I've been a little bit out of the loop, to be honest. Like, I just received an email last night, like, hey, you have to be at the studio at 5 p.m. to do rehearsals. And I'm like, I don't know, man. I've been in the studio quite a few times. Do I really need the rehearsal? I guess I do, but...
I feel.
Yeah, the schedule is a little bit all over the place. For the it's not even on the ESL site, so but anyway, it'll be split into 2 days. There'll be a lot of matches. Let's just talk about group or tournament 1, because the way it works is there's 2 open brackets, and then there's 2 players coming out of each tournament. It's a dual tournament setup. So the first group bracket thing is Violet Caliber, Senster Super, Puck Hydra, and Gumio Huck. Is it stacked? Nathanius, is it stacked to you?
Which, the first group?
Yeah.
For the dual tournament 1, you mean? Okay.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tricky one, right? I guess I haven't seen Super in what feels like a decade, but I mean Violet's kind of used to beating up on the NA guys, but I actually really like to see how far Xanster will go. And then Hydra, who hasn't been a part of a Kespa team for a while, possible decrease in skill, and I guess my favorite in the first dual tournament is probably Gumiho, right? Because he's Terran. I don't know. There's a lot of good Protosses here, and he's Terran, so yeah, he should be able to get through.
What about you, Rotterdam? Any thoughts on those players?
I think it's reasonably stacked. Like we're not gonna say like, oh wow, this is actually harder than the main tournament, but I think this is reasonably stacked. Like out of these 8 guys, only 2 are going to make it. I mean, Violet is definitely a player that's that's worthy of being at IEM, the final 16. Caliber, I like him, but I don't think he has a realistic shot over here. Zanser is a little bit of a mystery to me, even though he's been on route and he's been in the house for a while. I don't really know what to expect from him. I totally agree with Nate. I like Super. It's like what? Well, I've heard that name somewhere, but
Aren't you dead, man? Like, come on. Where'd you come
like
from?
Puck is like in my opinion always one of the top 2 or 3 North American producers, and I've always been a big fan of his PVZ. Even though I have to admit I haven't seen too much of Puck over the last few months, but Puck is a guy for me that in a North American IEM I would like to see him actually in the main event, but he's gonna have to fight hard for it. Hydra, I still think he's a top Zerg. CJ Entis for the longest amount of time. Now Root. Should be fun to watch. Gumio is also a little bit of a mystery to me because Gumio has had like pretty high peaks at certain moments in his career, but then also like he just completely disappeared again for a while. But wasn't Gumio part of like one of the best games ever when he played against Linok on Echelon Waste? Like, does anyone? What that was?
Yeah,
Against
yeah,
Lucira,
right?
no?
Sorry.
It was
Against Lucira, yeah.
I think.
Yeah, it could be. Either Lucira or Linok, but yeah, that game was so sick. And Gumio also made it back then out of a GSL Code S group where he defeated Rain, if I recall correctly. So, he's a solid there. And then we got good old Chris Loranger, who's always one of the best North American, if not the best North American product, or maybe even the best North American player in general. I guess it's hard to put him above Scarlet, but still. So, I think it's a pretty stacked tournament. It will make for fun games, like. It's not like, the sick, hype, legendary, epic, but, good StarCraft to start off with.
Yeah. What about Gumio Marinelord? Are you expecting a lot of great things out of him? I know he's been playing in more tournaments, the Puggycraft and so on lately.
Yeah, so a lot of game from him, like in the Base Trade TV tournament, I think.
Peewee.
It's
Oh,
Pewee,
yeah.
yeah. Like everybody I know calls him Puggy. It's hilarious.
Go on, Marine Lord, sorry.
Yeah, I think he's doing very well actually. Against Zerg, he's probably one of the best Terran in the world, I think, actually. And I saw his game against Sparting, I think. He lost 4-3. He did quite well.
Match,
It wasn't amazing, but yeah, it's Kumio, and I think he's playing very well at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
See, I think that's actually kind of interesting because Huck, I don't see Huck being the Blink Stalker mastermind that Parting is per se, but I kind of still see him as the same level of like aggressive Terran player. He's definitely willing to not go to 3 bases versus Terran, that's for sure. If that's the case, like I think I look at these first 4 matches, and I gotta be honest, I think these are gonna be some of the most boring first 4. But I think all the matches in the losers bracket and the winners bracket after these initial 4 are actually be really well matched for one another, and I think those are gonna be the most interesting part of the first dual tournament or whatever it's called.
I mean, I sort of agree, but I also sort of disagree, if that makes any sense. Like, I'm pretty pumped for Huck versus Gumio. Like, Gumio would not be the best player that Huck has ever defeated or something. Like, Huck has defeated way better players than Gumio. And also, like, Puck, PVZ, we've been hyping that for a long time. And he's a little bit of a mystery now, but, obviously Nate makes solid investments because Nate doesn't really spend a whole lot. So now he actually spends something on Puck. So I expect Puck to be in good shape.
Yeah,
So I think
player
that's going to be a good
invested in.
series.
I think
Last
Puck
player
has
I
the best
invested in.
foreigner chance.
And that group?
Yeah.
See, a lot of people are not going to agree, and maybe Caliber is going to like me for this, but I think Caliber is like the dirtiest cheeser. He's like the cat's version of Protoss. He like has these retarded builds that don't make sense, and he makes it work, and no one fucking expects it. It's like literally like a cat's. You're like, well, I've never played versus this shit before. Now is my decision making on the fly going to be good enough to beat whatever he throws at me? And of course, he abused Protoss to the max. He's a ginger. He's got no soul. So Caliber is really my pick to be the surprise for this group. But yeah, moving on to.
I would say, like, honestly, like, just off prowess, like, I think Xanster's actually not too bad either. I still
probably like the best realistically. Sorry.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of this goes off the matchups too. Like Xanster's ZVP is pretty alright too. I mean, like, same could be said. Like, if Huck had Hydra instead of Gumio, then like my opinion about Huck drastically changes too. Like, there's a lot of the ways the matchups for this worked out to be just, I'd say interesting for sure.
Yeah, it'll be. I don't think it'll be. I don't think any part of the bracket will be one-sided, except maybe Gumio versus Huck, just to start it off. Just because Huck's mindset versus PVT right now is probably the worst. But outside of that, I think it'll be really good matches. And yeah, Zenster probably the most realistic. Okay, Group 2, guys. True versus Top, the guy who finished second in the first GSL, right? That was Top, right?
I think that's a different top.
No, no way.
Is it the
It's the
Chinese
same, I
top or
think.
is it the
No,
Korean
it's
top?
the Korean
Korean.
Top.
Okay, the Korean top is Terran. He's actually decent. He's from OGS, right?
I
Yeah,
think so,
let's
yeah.
Oh no, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
finished second.
Yeah, no, because like first it was this
Yeah,
top,
yeah.
and
This
it
the-
used to be OGS top, and then we had like the different top, like there was a
The
Protoss
Chinese
top.
Protoss top was
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
cheesy.
But I felt there was like another top as well. Anyway, but yeah, this guy I haven't seen him in forever either.
Yeah, for sure. Wait, he didn't finish second. What
Yeah,
am
he
I
did
saying?
finish. No, he finished second in
think-
GSL Codes August. He lost 1-4 against MVP. And he also finished top 4 in the GSL Super Tournament. Lost 2-3 against Bolt. I love how all of his top tournament performances include games against Terran.
Of course, man. The TVT era. The Terran era.
I
So,
love how this guy disappeared from the radar for 3 years, and now Terran is OP as fuck, and he's suddenly back. Like, that's a smart man.
Catarina!
I think it's a coincidence, man. But so the first match is True versus Top. Second one is a Symbol versus Harstem or Boy. A Seed versus Cats, which is very they've been friends for so long. It's weird that they match against each other. And Fog versus Revival. So Rifkin, favorite? Any surprises you think is gonna happen?
So I think a lot of people are gonna have a lot of faith in True, because he's just been breaking out. But the thing is, through Elite Leagues and stuff, like True's ZVP is really good. His ZVT not so much, and that's usually a Terran. Like, granted, it's like Fantasy or Salvation, or like these really good Terrans that knock him out. But his ZVT has not been impressing me. So I kind of like I come into this and I want to hype True up, but like I don't know. The rest of this bracket is really funny to look at. Like Seed plays very well, but Cats plays, as we just referenced a moment ago, weird. So I think that's probably going to be my favorite match to watch, just to see how Seed reacts to Cats. I know Hearthstone's been training for the super duper hard as well. I don't think it's completely out of the question for him to beat Symbol if there's no like latency discrepancy or anything like this. But Symbol's really good, so it's not like that's going to be... It's like not an easy task at all.
I
think
believe that. Sorry, no, go ahead.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Sorry.
No.
No,
I was
thought
pretty
you
much
were
done.
No, I don't want to be that guy. I feel bad. Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, like, I think Fog's going to lose to Revival, and that wraps up my thoughts also.
Okay, because I think like Symbol is probably the most difficult opponent in this bracket for Hearthstone, and True is a little bit of a mystery because he had a lot of hype, but like the recent performance he's been a little bit disappointing. But I kind of believe in Kev, like Hearthstone. I think it's a shame that he's gonna go against Symbol first because I don't think he's gonna beat Symbol. If he does beat Symbol, then I think that he actually qualifies via the winner bracket. But I think that he will lose his first series. But I can see him have a good run through the loser bracket. The problem is, if you're losing the winner bracket round 1, you have to play 1, 2, 3, 4 best of 3. So he has to win 4 best of 3s in a row. It's difficult, but not impossible, because Hearthstone is pretty damn solid.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Marinelord, what about you? Any matches that stood out to you?
Not in match. I don't know top level, so that's... Yeah, he is not playing for so long, so I don't know about him. I think Kevin the Conning will do well. I think Arstem is a good player, so yeah. I hope he will qualify.
Yeah.
It feels
Arstem.
like Arstem has been on the brink of like a really huge performance for a while now. He's been doing very well recently, like in most of his appearances. I think it was like the Red Bull qualifiers that when it started showing a lot. Is always doing well versus Koreans, beating 2 or 3, and then losing to the 4th or 5th, and then not qualifying for anything, sadly. That's the foreigner life for you in a nutshell. But yeah, so let's talk a little bit about the groups. We don't know who's going to end up in who, but there's 3 players per group for now. And this is less stacked than Toronto, right, Kevin?
Well, Toronto
I
was
think so.
ridiculous. Toronto was ridiculously stacked. I
you
still
can't
think
Flash
this,
in a tournament, I mean.
yeah,
You
like,
can't
you have
compare
Flash
this
and
to...
stuff. Like IEM Toronto was a legendary IEM when it came to the skill level in that tournament. That was really insane. But I don't think this is a disappointing lineup at all. Like I'm very very pleased with this. You know, Rain, my favorite protos in the world, in a group with Scarlet and Snoot. Like how freaking cool is that? Scarlet and Snoot, they like almost never play. This is like kind of been like the best European against the best North American for a while. And of course you can always say like, Bunny might be the best European or Vortex. Doesn't matter. You know, this is really cool. We have one of the absolute best. You can say you have the two best performing Europeans and North Americans, at least going up against each other. Skill you can always argue over. Achievements you can't. Scarlet and Snoot have been the best two performing non-Koreans over the last 2 years. So to see them in the same group, I think is super exciting. Second group, you know, you have Polt and Jaedong, maybe a rematch again. Like I think that's always fun. That brings the hype for me personally. First comes off a pretty hot performance is maybe a big word, but he still won the group at DreamHack. So, you know, he's suddenly like, I'm a little bit more interested in first than I was before DreamHack Winter, in all honesty. Group C, let's just hope that Major actually makes it this time, and then I'll be happy. 4GG suddenly is like a much more interesting player for me than he was before DreamHack Winter as well, you know, because it's always fun to see someone perform at another tournament right after the biggest performance of his career. Hyun is Hyun. I agree with the people that get a little tired of like all the Hyun fights, but it's not because, you know, IEM just wants to have Hyun all the time. Hyun is just the guy that can actually get himself there. And these invites, you have to pay your own flight. So even though if they invite some, you know, other Korean that people maybe want to see more, they don't want to pay their own flight, then, you know, so be it. And I have nothing against Hyun. I really like him as a guy. He's like one of the nicest Koreans to me personally. He's the type of guy that always has a smile on his face. When he sees me, he always gives me a hug and stuff, and he always jokes around and tries to speak English. So for me, he's a very fun guy, but I do understand like some of the arguments from the community. It's like, Hyun again. And then Group D, we got CDN to Zero. He's like a legendary IEM performer. Like he has a great track record, 2 championships, 1 final. I love it. QXC, well, we know that he's been grinding like hell. Like we know that this is, you know, he has had tournaments before where he said he's been working hard towards it, but this is really like that one tournament for QXC that's almost like a make it or break it. His group is going to be ridiculously hard because he also has Bomber and. You know, other than that quarterfinal in DreamHack, or excuse me, BlizzCon, Bomber hasn't really lost a whole lot over the last 4 months. Like, he won pretty much everything he participated in. So, you know, I'm pretty hyped. It's no Toronto, but I'm pretty freaking hyped, man. Like, I'm happy.
Yeah.
I just want to speak on QXC for a second here. I'm really sad he didn't get a Zerg in his group. For those who did not see the qualifiers, like QXC had so much drama, but also ferocity around his qualifying matches. It was insane. It was ridiculous. He was playing better than I've ever seen him before. And there's a little bit of drama because some DDoSing or something happened, and that kind of sucked. But man, I was really hoping he was going to get a Zerg in his group to just replicate that. But maybe his TVT and his TVP is even better. I don't know. But I'm really looking forward to seeing QXC.
It's very possible though that he gets a Zerg in his group because from the first bracket, I think it's unlikely that neither Violet or Hydra qualifies, or maybe even Zanster. So I think there's a good chance that at least one Zerg makes it out of dual tournament number 1. And if I look at the second group, you have True, Symbol, and Revival and Cats. I think it's very unlikely that none of those make it. Like, if I would have to make a prediction right now, I say at least 2 out of the 4 players that will qualify for the main group stage are Zerg. So maybe he will get a Zerg in his group.
But QXC also had like a very solid TVP like way back. Was it, I think, IEM Cologne, and after that as well. Like he's just got really good control. He's not afraid to go late game. He's not the kind of guy to pull the boys all the time. So yeah, hopefully he does well. Nathanius, are you excited to try to watch Scarlet versus Snoot on airport Wi-Fi while you're traveling back?
Well, that match should be played on the 4th, no?
Yes,
According to this.
yes.
So I totally won't be in an airport. I come back on the 8th, man.
Oh, so you'll be...
Yeah, man.
Okay, you'll be...
Yeah. I'll try to watch... I'll probably watch as much of this as I can. It's going to be on... Looking at the times, pretty late. So... But I won't be able to stream because I'll get no viewers if I compete. So I'll totally watch it. Outside of that,
and IEM are the same day for the finals, just not
the group
same
I'm
times.
most excited to see for what should be pretty obvious reasons, B and C. I think Bomber's going to sweep his group no matter who goes in there. I think Rain's going to sweep his group no matter what happens. And I think the group B is probably like the most running because First actually had a pretty reasonable performance at DreamHack Winter. I always like Polt. And I always like seeing him stomp Zergs, which he should be able to do to Jaedong. And yeah, Group C. I mean, I'm on the 4GG. I've been on the 4GG hype train for a long time. I just want to see him play more games. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, am I supposed to do this thing where I'm like talking about which foreigner is gonna make it out? Because at that point, it's probably
Major?
Probably Snoot. Yeah, Snoot will get out. I think Snoot will beat Scarlet and probably whoever else gets out. I think Snoot's capable of beating. I think Snoot can beat Violet or Hydra. So.
I think this is such a big match though, like Snoot Scarlet, because Scarlet has a lot of pride in like losing to non-Koreans. Like I think C really hates losing to non-Koreans. C likes to think that C should be considered as the best non-Korean player in the world. So seeing Scarlet go up against Snoot, I think that's going to be awesome. Like maybe I'm like kind of overspeaking things because she has never said it or something. So I'm not trying to speak for her, but I kind of get that vibe from her that she really wants to, you know, at least be considered, or that she thinks that she's the best non-Korean. That's the impression that I get. So I think if it would come down to a decider in Group A between Scarlet and Snoot, man, I'd be so hyped for that. Like that would be one of the coolest matches, story-wise for me, of the year, because I think that is a match that a lot of people have been waiting for a very long time. And Snoot is not a guy that looks a whole lot into it. Snoot just always kind of, you know, Snoot is just so nice and mellow. He just like wants to win, and it doesn't matter who he plays against. He just wants to play his best and advance. Like he's super kind. But I think for Scarlet, there's like a little extra on the line.
Yeah, for sure. It'll be a lot of fun. Rifkin, do you have any thoughts about these group, favorite players, and so on?
I think a lot of what I want to say has already been said. I think Scarlet and Snoot's going to be particularly interesting because they both play in a very not expected style, but I feel like if they wanted to, they could snipe each other, and if they both prepare for that specifically, I think that would be a hilarious series. But yeah, I'm still riding the 4GG hype train first as well. There's so many good players here. Like, it's definitely not as hype as Toronto, that's for sure, but there's still so much there. Like, it's comparing excellent to amazing, you know? It's going to be good. I'm very looking forward to it.
Yeah, for sure. So that kind of wraps it up. IEM San Jose preview starting tomorrow. The groups will be played on Thursday. So Wednesday, Thursday, takes a break for Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday, lots of awesome StarCraft. It's going to be in the Shark Tank at the SAP Arena, which is a pretty big arena. It's going to be a hockey arena. It's going to be filled with League of Legends players, so if you do go there, please be nice to them. Try to convert them, offer them free chocolate. We need everything we can. And let's get your questions on Reddit and Twitter answered. There's a few questions already that were really good. If we talked about something previously, I'm probably not going to ask it again, just because, you know, don't want to be making my guests repeat themselves. They're not parrots, they're StarCraft personalities and players. So let's get into it. Who's played the most Brood War here, guys? Anyone wants to grab that one?
I highly doubt this.
Customs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I played a hell of a lot of
Spine
defense, man. Yeah.
There's no one in the StarCraft 2 scene except Spinishua that knows as much about diplomacy as me. So,
dude, the Brood War custom games, by the way, like were so bad. Like, I look at all the cool games we have now and all the amazing things that have changed for the arcade, and I can't help but think about the games that are still like Break the Condom, and it's like 50 lings versus like a wall of defense. You're like,
didn't
what
play
was
Strip
this?
Kerrigan
Like,
when they were 12 years old? Come on.
right, exactly. Brood War, man.
What about you, Marinelord? Have you played Brood War?
Yeah, I played a bit when I was really young.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was quite a while ago. I wasn't bad, but like, what?
You're still really young. I just want to throw that out.
Yeah, but like, when I was 6 years old, I was playing StarCraft Brood War. So yeah, it was really, really young, you know. So yeah, I don't like RTS, so I played a bit of Warcraft 3 and Brood War basically.
Okay.
What race did you play in Warcraft?
I didn't play Warcraft so long. Like I did Brood Wars and Diablo, a little bit of Warcraft, like for 1 year. I was 10 years old, I think. Then I did again Brood War because I preferred I didn't like the hero thing in Warcraft.
But what race did you play? You don't remember?
Oh, I played human.
Ah, human, okay.
Undead for life.
Or bro.
Yeah, I really like Hork because you could be the most annoying piece of shit ever. Like, I think that's just a general nice feeling. It's like you're a bug, you're a mosquito with the Blade Master. Anyway,
It's a big mosquito, though.
Yeah.
yes. Are you
Fucking
talking
skull
about me or the
mosquito.
Blade Master?
No, the Blade Master. He has a big sword.
Okay.
But you would be a very big mosquito too, then.
Thank you. Do you guys think Legacy of the Void will be good from the spectator standpoint? Right now, we have a lot of passive macro games that can lead to boring mid game and ridiculously drawn out late game. Do you think Legacy of the Void will fix this because of the new units and econ change? Nathanius.
Yeah, man. It's like, so the less money that you have, or the more pressure there is to take bases, and the better the harassing units are. Like, some of the most exciting games that people watch in StarCraft 2 are games where, like, you know, okay, something crazy happens and there's a really low econ, but it's not just because both players are in this really intense situation. Like, from a spectator standpoint, you know, watching 40 Marines fight 40 Marines and 6 siege tanks on both sides is a lot more difficult to follow than, like, oh, you know, he's got like 2 Marauders up against like, you know, like 6 Stalkers that don't have blink or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like, being able to follow things because there's less units but still a lot happening. I think that makes it easier for people that are like new to the game to follow, because I've never shown someone StarCraft 2 for the first time and like shown them like a big fight and then be like, say anything other than like, I have no idea what's going on. And even with small units, sure, but it's easier to like explain. I kind of like the idea of like slow things happening all over, and
So moving away from the
no
death ball.
balls.
Yeah.
The
Okay.
death ball is pretty boring. Like, if the people who understand the game hate the death ball, like why the fuck would anybody new to the game be interested in it?
And in contrast, Wisecracks, sorry for butchering your name.
Best regards.
Asking a like total opposite question. While some people dislike cheese early aggression, I always found it to be the most exciting time in a StarCraft game. Watching someone execute a cheese defend early aggression literally makes every unit crucial, and every second means so much more. With the Legacy Void changes to early game, do you think the unpredictability which made StarCraft such an immensely challenging game will disappear? I understand they want to get right into the exciting portion of the game, but has anyone thought that this could lead to even more same old 3 base attack and make each game more similar? In my opinion, the greatest best of 3 series of all time was 2013 Codes Final Innovation vs Sulky. This series opened up with a successful proxy 2 racks, had 2 game of 2 base versus 3 base, a failed Zerg cheese, a failed proxy 2 racks in game 6, and one of the greatest finales to any series ever. With all of the upcoming changes, will brilliant series like that cease to exist? And I guess you can put Squirtle MVP in there with the proxy 2 racks. But Rifkin, we'll start with you, because I know you were one of the guys, like when Legacy of the Void at BlizzCon, when we talk, you're like, oh yeah, the mid game or the early game is so boring. Just jumping into the mid game is going to be fantastic. What are your thoughts on Wisecrack's questions?
So, well, just generally speaking, because I know I made some comments in the past, so what I thought would happen. Now that we've actually played some matches out, we've seen a lot of people streaming it. It's interesting the way the dynamics of it have already evolved. Because I think a lot of us were assuming this would be a scenario where you're like, oh, okay, you're going to CC with your first SCV, you know, you're going to hash rate right away. But actually, we've been seeing the opposite of that so far, and I don't know if this is just because it's the beta and people haven't got things figured out or what counters what, but there's been a lot of one-base plays. There's been a lot of one-base, like Hercs or fast disruptors or like just speedlings into Ravagers. I mean, I think there's actually the 7 Ravager Rush, which seems to be really popular right now. So I really thought the mid-game would be where we sail towards, but like everything we've seen so far has been a lot of cheese and a lot of really micro-intense situations where it's still 5 bases, but it's like 1 base at a time, you know, mine out, then the next base, mine out, then the next base. So as far as like the boringness of the early game or sailing towards the mid game, I don't know. It's so hard to say because again, like the game's being figured out in a big way. But I think that's a really cool thing to think about, like where you do think, like, yeah, some of the most exciting parts of StarCraft 2 are like, did the 2 racks do enough damage? You know, will the 4 gate or 2 gate get scouted, or I don't know. It's everything about Legacy of the Void is just kind of has to be taken with a grain of salt, with knowing that like we don't know how it's going to change, and it is going to change. I mean, again, I referenced the Warhound from StarCraft 2: Heart of the Swarm. Like, that was probably the biggest thing for Terran, and it was removed at the last minute. Like, the 11th hour, they got rid of it. So, I don't really know. It's too hard to form like a solid opinion right now. But I think, just generally speaking, whether you're a fan of cheese or whether you're a fan of macro, I don't think you'll be disappointed.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Rotterdam? Any thoughts?
I pretty much agree with what all the guys are saying. Like, I think it's going to be interesting and fun, but it's so hard to really speculate right now about what to truly expect. And also, of course, like some of the games that you see right now, like Riff said, like yeah, people rush up to Ravages, people rush up to Disruptor, people rush up to Herc and whatever. But the very first tournament that has a reasonable prize pool, everyone's just gonna blink Stalker all in anyways, you know. So like now there's nothing on the line, so you're like, yeah, let's open up with a Disruptor drop. That sounds really fun. I wonder what this is going to do. But as soon as you put $500 on the line, it's like, well, here comes the Twilight Cost, so let's micro those blink Stalkers. Money is money. You know, that's just how it's going to be. So we'll see what actual impact it truly has in the game. It's very hard to say when there's no money on the line how the state of the game really is.
Yeah,
There's
I
so
think,
much. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, so as long as people like Yoshi are alive and people like Deezer are not dead, like they will find ways to make cheese. Like when the game is out for a long enough time, people have it on their hands. Like pretty much, I would say within the first week of ladder existing, when the beta comes out, like within a week, there's going to be some sick cheeses that people had never thought about. Because just like the Warhound, Blizzard was like, oh yeah, we thought this unit would be like totally normal, you know, like you'd build a couple, mix them in your army. Like, no, when you put these in the hands of people who want ladder points, they will figure some dank shit out that you never expected. And the problem right now is that even if this thing exists, who's playing like this Legacy of the Void Alpha mod? People that are like trying the new units, people that aren't playing for large amounts of money, people playing against their fans, and like you're not getting, like we're not seeing matches where it's like fucking Parting versus Flash for $1,000, like where they spend 3 weeks figuring out like the best way to abuse something. So no, I think complaints like that are, I mean, they're to be expected because people are, you know, they're ignorant until they get to have it in their face. But it's going to be pretty interesting to see what kind of cheese, because I refuse to believe that someone won't figure out some really messed up builds. And we all know, like right now, there really only needs to be one, because like, you know, the 2 racks was a staple, the 2 gate has been pulled out every now and again, and the 6 pool, or like, you know, 7, 8, whatever pool, like builds like those, it's going to be different obviously, but there's no way that people aren't going to figure out some way to abuse the whatever the meta becomes for Legacy of the Void.
It's just not going to be like 30 seconds in cheese.
No, it's not gonna be an 11-11, right? Maybe it's a 12-12-12. You know, who knows? But there will be something, and it'll be something that if you don't scout, you don't prepare for, you're gonna lose, because that's how strategy games work.
Mm-hmm.
And Nate will use it.
Damn straight.
Mr. Proxy Thor drop, yeah. Just to talk on Roddy's point, going back there a sec, like that was exactly what we saw in the 2 vs 2 with Hearthstone and Caliber. We made a joke in all chat during the game saying, "Hey guys, I thought this was Legacy of the Void. Where are the new units?" And they're like, "No, dude, money's on the line. We want that $50." So Hearthstone and Caliber, they just did Colossus and Blink Stalkers, both of them. I mean, it's fun, but Rotterdam brings up the point that's the core of it. Like, when money's on the line, we're not going to get to see something cool, innovative play. It's going to be what works and what's easiest to pull off. So this is so far from being anything that we can really thoroughly discuss.
Exactly.
Yeah. Just a little disclaimer, guys. I don't know if Twitch doing it on purpose, but it's 2 weeks in a row that it derps during Remax. Don't refresh, don't go anywhere. Just if you want to, because otherwise you'll be screwed and you won't be allowed back in. There's a doorman, and Twitch is on control of it. Next question. With the recent drama in CSGO, do you think like something like this could be possible in StarCraft 2 as well? Bly. In a LAN environment. So, not Bly. But, Nathanius, do you think there could be cheating in StarCraft 2?
For me, no.
So I find this interesting because I've spent a surprising amount of time around people that are into CSGO, and I know probably a lot more than I would have originally cared to about what happened with all of that. So
not the
I think
boosting, the hacking.
Yeah. The hacking thing. Yeah, the vacation or whatever. But as far as StarCraft goes, I honestly don't think that the types of things that happened with those types of hacks are really doable. The only thing that I could think of is if somebody, because the most, like, very few players play in closed enough environments where you could, like, have some sort of USB driver installing crack that actually lets you see, you know, like, for online play, yeah, I totally think, you know, especially because the way StarCraft works, the hacks are undetectable. Like, Blizzard actually has, there's actually no way for Blizzard to know when people are using hacks unless they do it so obviously that, like, it's giveaway in a replay or they're dumb enough to stream it. So that's, like, for that. But for live events, I don't think it could be possible because a big thing about the CS thing was that people had, like, found ways to, like, actually hack, like, at LAN events using non-interface stuff that would just automatically work without you having to configure it. So it would be impossible for an admin to see it set up or anything. But yeah, I'd be surprised if we had any of that offline for StarCraft just because of the way the game works.
What about pixel boosting Stardust Colossus? How about that? Like,
I mean, well, stuff like that is like I remember this when there was, like, this bug or whatever. Someone found a way that you could glitch a siege tank under the map on Shakuris Plateau, and it was like it was untargetable by melee units.
Yeah.
So you like rush out a tank and park it under your opponent's natural or, like, main mineral line. It just went under the map, and, like, it could be hit, but you had to get close to it. But, you know, tanks have range, so and you also don't know where it is.
Just a little disclaimer before we move on about the cheating thing. I don't know, Nate, if you caught it because of DreamHack, but we were talking with someone from Blizzard and reporting a map hacker. Like, if you play a map hacker on ladder, reporting him actually does matter, and they've lowered the amount of reports it takes before they take a look at it. So, because a lot of people, you know, you'll see streamers and they'll be like, oh, it's map hacker, I report, it does nothing, and then people end up just not reporting. So, actually report the people, and if you see the same guy a week later, he bought the new account. Like, the people are being banned, not just in Wave anymore.
The reason that they have to do it in waves most of the time, I think a lot of people really don't understand this. This is like with all games and cheating. Like, if you ban the guy right away, it flags up like, oh, this hack no longer works, and somebody moves on. But if you wait and you realize a lot of people are still using the same one, like, then you get rid of a lot of them at the same time, and it delays the time until the next new crazy thing comes out. Like, I used to be a guy who was like, man, this is bullshit. Why don't they just one at a time? But if you do that, it doesn't solve the problem. It band-aids it. So,
yeah. I've seen their websites where, like, their stuff gets posted, and it's disheartening because there's, like, thousands and thousands and thousands of views on the forum threads on, like, hacking websites where this shit gets posted. But as soon as somebody gets banned using one, the first thing that happens is someone reports it, the version's marked dead, and the guy releases an update, like, the next day or some shit. Like, that's how it works. So banning in waves, like, people can whine about it as much as they want, but it's like, not a terrible way to do it.
No, but the people that are super obvious, like the stream.
Well, yeah, the people that are super obvious aren't really the problem, though, right?
But they're the most persistent, and they're the ones that keep the same nickname.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about this in terms of, like, talking about online tournaments, because
there was a Reddit thread about it earlier this week, and people were like, yeah, it does nothing and everything. So I wanted to just address it a little bit. Make sure to report. Let's see what other questions. Rotterdam, you're a good-looking brodas who could get all the grills. Have any pro gamers ever asked you advice about picking up chicks?
Yeah, I believe two of them are in the call right now.
What?
Wait, who?
Oh, that's the roulette that the rest can play.
desRow's asked you for dating advice?
Yeah, you mean the Danians have asked you.
That's impressive. No,
I
believe me, Roddy. You know what? I'll tell you what. Roddy's given me his advice without asking, and I didn't want it after he told me. Believe me.
I gave Nate some really solid dating advice. Yeah, it's so solid. It's so solid that I'm still single. So I don't think anyone should listen to me. Whenever
I certainly didn't ask for that advice.
But that was good advice. Like, I still think you should use it. Like, we'll share it during the next Roddy and Drunk Nate stream, which will definitely be coming in the upcoming months when we have a lot of time. But no, funny question, but obviously not something that I should really answer. And I also don't think that I'm that amazing at it. So, Caprino.
But it's definitely happened in the past.
Yes, it has happened.
Okay. This may be off topic. Do you feel there's room for new streamers for StarCraft? I want to stream, but I feel it's too late. From someone on Twitter.
Yes. 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 Legacy of the Void is going to be coming out soon. TM. At the very least, we do know that there will be a beta to stream, perhaps within the next 6 months. Right? They said first half of the year. So at some point, there's going to be an influx of people. And the reason why people like Winter, who are not fantastic at the game, but good enough at it to make people, you know, like be like, okay, Master League, this is like reasonably decent to look at. So the failure of streaming in the StarCraft scene has always been that there's very few consistent streamers, right? Well, obviously, we have some people that are entertaining and have nice streams to watch, but I mean, I feel like it just kind of comes up every time we discuss streaming or viewer numbers, and it's basically that there's no consistent streamers that have a reliable, predictable schedule that someone could tune into and expect like the same content every day, right? Like the only person in StarCraft that really does that a lot is, well, Winter, and he's massively successful for it, but it doesn't, like, you also have to be good enough at the game at this point too, because our community is very picky about that sort of thing. But yeah, like all you have to do is really be dedicated and be decent at the game, you know?
To be honest,
It's
I don't
really
even
not as
think
difficult.
that I don't even think that skill really matters all that much. Because like when
Skill
Winter
is
was
what you use to draw them in, though, I think.
a little bit, but like even when Winter started growing, he was like right now he definitely improved quite a bit over the last few months. He's putting in crazy amount of hours, so obviously you know everyone gets better, and he is getting quite a bit better as well. And it's been fun to follow his journey as well. But when he started growing his channel already, like up to a point where I think a lot of people would dream of having, you know, as many people watching as Winter had. I really don't think he was all that good, and I don't think like Master League was a little bit of a stretch even. Often, you know, he was commentating games in Diamond League and he was losing most of them. So it's just about the fact that he's interactive and he's really consistent, and I think there is indeed always room for more people. Like I haven't streamed like shit in 6 months. Let's just be honest. Like once in a month, I had like a fun stream night, or Nate and me we did something together, or I casted a show match here and there. But basically, from April to November, I haven't streamed shit. Like let's just be honest. Like, I've been really busy, and all the excuses are there, but. I just didn't do much, and now I've been streaming for a week, and I literally have better numbers than ever. And of course, people can say like, yeah, well, it's really easy for you. You commentate all these events, and you have all these Twitter followers, but that doesn't matter. The fact that I have better numbers than I've ever had shows that there are plenty of people out there who would like to watch StarCraft, and it's not just that they want to watch me because I'm so fucking fantastic at the game, or I'm so funny. Or I get all the grills, you know, like no, like it's none of that.
You do get a lot of grills, though.
I don't get any grills. All the grills leave me. But like, I think I totally agree with what Nate said. Like, of course you do need something. Like, you can't just turn on your cam, be in, let's say, Platinum League, and expect hundreds of people to watch you. There has to be a reason. You know, do something. Make sure that if you want to do it, then go all out. Think about everything that you can do right. Being consistent, make your stream look good, don't do too much of this, a little bit of talking, be interactive, and take it from there. It's possible. It's not easy, but, you know, nothing good in life is easy, unless you're the daughter of a millionaire, then life's pretty easy.
Or Kim Kardashian.
Yeah.
Okay, so...
Even she had to work for it, man. Hey,
she had to suck a D for it, man.
No,
so I want to say, like, with maybe Nate being my rival here, I would consider myself like almost a professional Twitch watcher. Like, I go through so many different streams, and I see so much of like what doesn't work. And I think one of the biggest things that got touched based on a little bit here is seriously commentary, talking. It's a big deal. Most people on Twitch usually don't have you full screened watching you for your attention, unless you're that millionaire girl that Rotterdam just referenced.
Poor guy that matter before the rest of the world gets angry again. As a millionaire's son, it's pretty easy to, I guess.
Okay, my point is, like, whether you're good looking or not, I mean, the point is usually it's not full screen. Usually they're either there for your chat or they get you in the background. It's like that for base rate TV a lot too. With our commentary, a lot of people just constantly tell us they've got us in the background. It's nice background noise to have. It's easy listening, and I think that's one of Winter's stronger points too. Like, he's always talking. This is a bad point for some people, but a good point for most. So I think my number one thing would be, like, as someone who watches a lot of channels that are not just exclusively StarCraft, keep the commentary up. You'll probably have a better chance growing your channel than being GM.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, of course. Totally agree.
Looking for something on...
And also, don't blast K-pop at 100% with game sounds and things.
And no webcam, Kappa HD.
Like, sometimes I get so sad because I really want to give, like, some of these, like, top Korean guys a chance, but then after 10 minutes, like, it actually really gets to me. Like, I don't really get, like, Nate knows me pretty well, and Nate will say that not a whole lot of things make me nervous in life or uncomfortable. Like, I'm very relaxed, but if I'm surrounded by that noise for 10 minutes, like, it makes me just feel totally uncomfortable in my entire body. I start, like, having some weird anxiety. I just can't listen to it at all. So, you know, like, if you stream, then kind of think about, like, you don't have to listen to music that you don't like, but try to keep it a little evergreen at least, or try to please, like, you know, for instance, I really like listening to Drake, but I know there are a lot of people out there that don't really like Drake. I still play Drake on my stream, but I also switch it up, and I play some dance, I play some other music, you know, just to keep, just to, you know, make it at least nice for everyone at a certain point in the stream. Sometimes people underestimate, I think, how important music is, because at least for me personally, I can't listen to something that literally drives me insane or makes me sweaty, which is really weird, but it does it.
Sweaty, eh?
And just a point that I want to bring up one more time, because no one was there was like maybe only one exception that someone was able to find when I mentioned this the last time that we talked about this, but StarCraft is one of the very unusual games where you can have someone on Twitch not speaking English, only playing a game, not interacting at all, having no webcam, and still having, like, sometimes decent viewership. And that's gotten a lot worse for those people. But, like, if I look at the top streams for any other game, I've never been able to find someone just playing the game, even at a good level, just playing, and no camera, and, like, nothing, or even shitty music. Like, I can't even find one of those, like, with just really awful music that have good viewers. So, like, there's like the Koreans that actually, like, can get, like, 800 viewers doing absolutely nothing other than playing. Like, they're basically just, like, they're not actually streaming. They just have their stream software on while they're laddering. Like, it's actually really impressive to get any viewers at all.
Mm-hmm. All right. So if you want to become a new streamer, listen to everything we said, and good luck to you, 2015. The dream
and don't give up easy, because, like, some people think that Winter just, like, suddenly had this handed to him, but the kid has been streaming for years, I think. Like, he's been working really hard for it as well. And now he's, like, huge, you know, he blew up big time, and now he's getting invited to events and stuff as well, living esports life. It's amazing. But it wasn't easy for him either. So, you know, don't give up after a month if you're still cruising around 20, 30 viewers, you know. You got to work with what's given to you, and if you put in the efforts, like, it can work off. Like, nothing is sure, especially not in this industry, but you know, if you want to do it, then go all out and be ready to deal with disappointments, because I think I speak for all 5 of us here in the Skype channel that we've all had plenty of disappointments in esports, but you got to get over those, and then you got to keep going, and then eventually, you know, good things happen.
Yeah. And the TL calendar is something you might have to use. Like, even if you suck, just being listed as a player in the tournament, it can help.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I was very small streaming, like, I always got more viewers. When I was, like, really new to streaming, I would always get more viewers if I had myself listed under, like, online tournaments that were going on, like Go for SC2 or Play Him and all that shit.
Yeah. Of course, you got to participate, but...
Yeah.
Don't be shameless.
Yeah, don't be one of those guys.
Yeah. Alright, next question. What are your thoughts on the spammer that got into the games every day at DreamHack? Why hasn't they made a statement about it?
Yeah, we forgot about it. I completely forgot to mention that, and I didn't really want to go on too much of a negative tyrant, because I already said I didn't really like the casting setup. Not the casters, I just didn't like the 4 casting setup thingy, and I also didn't like obviously the audio issues and the fact that they were lost 3-0. So like I really don't want to be that guy that's like burning DreamHack to the ground or something. But that is really inexcusable. Like that happens once. Like hey, that's really bad and it shouldn't happen. But whatever. But that it happens again in the finals, even when it's broadcasted on TV and stuff. Like that is just a really big fuck up. There's nothing else to say.
It was a new person, a new admin. She was a cute blonde, but she messed up. She was. Someone linked her Twitter, man. But
here's the problem I have. We have the tools to deal with this now. Once upon a time, you had to ride that storm out. It sucked because it would be a regame. The second you see that first, because this happened in Copa America and some other tournaments too. Like the second you see that happen, the admin shouldn't even hesitate. That should be a pause. There should be a remake, and they should make sure that guy's not in the lobby. Like they shouldn't let that go on for like 5-10 minutes, wondering like, oh, is he gonna put another message? Is he gonna lag? Like, let's hope he doesn't. Like,
yeah, you make a good point there. Like I made a mistake. I made the exact mistake when I was casting with Nate once, because I didn't see Nate's part in like Destiny 1 when they had to deal with that guy as well.
Yeah,
that apparently
we almost had it happen in Red Bull. Like I noticed the last second.
Yeah, no, but we kind of had it one moment, and then I said like, we just roll with it, you know. And we started, and he was like, I think we should rehost, and I was like, no, I think it's fine. And then like he started lagging. I was like, oh, well, he stopped lagging. Let's give it a go. And then he stopped lagging again, and I felt so bad. That's like one of the few times in life that Mr. Baylor actually got mad at me, and it scarred me really deep. Like he came to me in the break, and he's like, hey, never fucking ever overrule anything again we say in here. I'm sorry, Ben. I'm sorry. Forgive me.
was he really harsh like that?
Yeah, no, like Ben is like, I mean, like Ben is one of my best friends in life.
Seriously.
Yeah,
but he's your boss at the same time, so he's gonna crack the whip, man.
Yeah, no, at that moment he was intimidating.
But it's like, in fairness, like this hasn't happened enough that every organization's aware of it, right? Like I'm pretty sure there's people at DreamHack who are in charge don't know about every instance of it happening at Destiny 1 or Copa America or these other ones. So maybe they was unprepared, but I think we're at this point now where between social media and between the fact that people actually talk to one another, it should be known, like, look, you should restart. There shouldn't be any question. If this happens, okay, fool me once, shame on me, right? But
yeah, but I think Yari is forgetting like the main focus here, and that is the fact that this person should never be in the game. Like, this is not DreamHack's first event. DreamHack has run like 24 StarCraft 2 events over the years, and there's truly no excuse. Like new admin, sure, that's great. Make sure that someone who's actually an SC2 expert and knows who should be in the game and who shouldn't be in the game is, guiding her or him. I don't know if it was truly the goal. I don't want to make any assumptions through the tournament because there's really no excuse for that. This is really bad. Like, it's really, really bad.
Yeah. I think the gist that I got out of it was that there's a channel that all the non-English streamers speak in, and this was I suggested a fix to this a long time ago, but I guess like tournaments aren't ready to provide clean feeds yet, which just immediately rules out all of this from being even remotely possible. But until tournaments can do clean feeds properly, like they had the channel, so the non-English streams don't switch their overlays as soon as the game ends, so people see the channel. And then these people had like 8 different accounts, I guess, that all had their names set to the names of each community streamer.
Caster, yeah.
Yeah, to every single person.
I've seen some Rifkins floating around too.
Yeah, like the first one I saw was like ST Legend because we had like a Korean stream.
Yeah.
And like they don't really English, not really a big thing. So
but how do they get in the channel? I don't get this.
It's not a group sure,
or like an
but
invite
I've been told that there's like glitches or like shit people can use to sometimes jump in games if you're in a channel with someone when like the lobby host gets transferred to someone else. I'm not
it's
sure.
visible,
how,
like you can click in a
Okay, but like how is someone who shouldn't
them,
be in the channel in the channel?
Well, no, that's the thing. Like, if we make the channel like Remax
channel...
SC2, someone sees that, all they do is they just join it, right? Like, they just
type
like
but there should be strict instructions on
It's
that.
laziness. I totally agree. Like whatever.
It's a human mistake.
Like
that's why a lot of
the admin should set up like a invite-only group that the games are all drawn from. And at the very least, because I also suggested this, and like I don't know, no one really seemed to think it was a good idea until it happened like twice. Was like just have whoever the observer is for the stream. Worst case scenario, like when the tournament starts, they should just block everybody, block communication with everybody except like the players. You know what I mean? So that people can see them type GG, or just block everybody anyway. I think there used to be tournaments where they did that,
and they were like, "Oh, it's not like this person didn't GG. You know, we just don't enable chat or some shit." So they just blocked everybody.
Mhm.
Some of the most basic things tournaments are doing right now, though, and I don't know why DreamHack doesn't or other people don't, is like even just putting a barcode in the actual channel name. So it'll be like ESL Go for StarCraft, IIILL. Because then if someone sees it on stream, they can't exactly type that in.
Oh, but I mean, that's something that has been used for like 2.5, 3 years. Like, that should be a given by now.
It should be, but it's not.
Used for this
like,
tournament. It wasn't used for this tournament.
Yeah, well, that's a big mistake.
It rightly should have been. You know?
Yeah, that sucks for the people targeted and the hate messages.
When those messages go out on Swedish national television, you can't take it back. So.
Yeah. Well, it's smaller on a TV, right? You can maybe you have like to like get up from your couch if you want to go read.
Do you just assume nobody has like a flat screen in like 2014 desRow?
Of course, but maybe
everybody's
it's
watching
still
little CRT monitors, like
with the curved green screen in it.
No, but not everyone is a 55-inch. All right, last question. Actually, second last. Last night, no. Hold on. Yeah. So, what do you guys think of MKP finally learning to play safe, scouting, bunkers, turrets, and beating parting 3-0? Rifkin.
Okay, so like, there's always the jokes, and like, we're gonna be the first ones to crack it because of his participation in the Alima League. It's not like Marine King's a retarded player who's never heard of a bunker. But the thing was, Parting was all like, as much as I want to praise Marine King's defense and all the cool stuff he did, like, Parting played really super all in. Like, I mean, I think all 3 games were 1-base, right? I mean,
yep.
Yeah. As much as I want to give credit to Marine King, it's also a lot the detriment and the fault of Parting for choosing to play that style. So I don't know. That was, for me, a little bit of a weird series, to say the least.
Okay, fair enough. Last question. Any thoughts on OGN broadcasting Brood War again instead of StarCraft 2? Nathanius, as someone who's casted Pro League in the past. You have the most relevant opinion on this subject.
I don't know, man. I don't care. If people want to watch it, people should be able to watch it. There's plenty of other things that are broadcasting StarCraft. Why do we... Like, I don't know. Brood War... If people want to watch Brood War, I personally feel like there's not any real way to watch it, so they should... It's good. It's good that there's a place where people can watch that game, because StarCraft 2 is fucking wrecking it as far as number of tournaments and shit, so... Yeah.
Damn! Alright. Take that, Brood War fans. Fuck Starbow. Alright. That wraps up the show. I was joking, by the way. Thank you, everyone, for coming on the show. We'll do the shoutouts, and then we'll go on a merry way. Rotterdam, where can we see you next? What are you up to? And so on.
I have 3 people from Red Bull sitting in my living room right now, waiting for me to be done with this, as I'm gonna do like a small interview piece with that. So you guys will see that in the future. Then after that, I'm gonna have to drive to Burbank for rehearsals for IEM, which will be broadcasted tomorrow. Twitch.tv/IEMSE2. I assume is going to be the channel, but you guys can find the link on Team Liquid as well. So tomorrow and the day after, we have the first 2 dual group stages, like we went over. And then on Friday, I will drive up to San Jose, where we will be casting the main event over the weekend. So that's going to be a lot of fun. After that, on Monday and Tuesday, I might like visit the Root Gaming House for like 2 days. I might try to do a stream from there, but I don't think I'll bring my equipment. It's more just to have fun. And then as soon as I'm back, which will probably be like next Wednesday, it's just going to be solid Roddy streaming for many months to come. So Twitch.tv/Rotterdam08 is where you will see me. But yeah, not for the upcoming 6-7 days, but a lot after that. And
cool.
Yeah, that's it. Thanks, Desi, for Remax, as always.
Yeah, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it. Marinelord, what about you? Is there any French lands coming up that you'll be attending?
Yeah, in 2 weeks I have like the end of the French Championship at Millennium House with Daichi, Lilbo, and Firecake. My
God.
dear friend.
Oh
yeah.
God.
Yes. Yeah, he's my opponent. It will be easy, and he will go back to his home easily.
Nice.
Cool. So yeah, shout out to you guys. That was cool. Also shout out to Millennium for supporting me, and to my sponsor Logitech, HyperX, Winamax, and P6 Energy. And yeah, basically that's it. Thanks you, man.
No problem. What about you, Rifkin? Is there any more WoW stream coming up for you?
Well, I haven't actually streamed any WoW, bro. We did a free for all last night and a bunch of 2v2s and other junk on StarCraft.
Nice. That passion.
Yeah, dude. as far as actual StarCraft stuff goes, like I said, we're working on something. As soon as I've got everything locked down, we'll post details. I want to hold qualifiers and all these other things as we usually do, because I really am not a big fan of like invite only, but I do like mixing invites with qualifiers. So hopefully the details of that get announced sooner than later. Aside from that, we might have a last minute show match come down tomorrow. I'm shooting for Parting versus Patience, but I have to hear back from Parting still. It'll actually be Korea time, so 10:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so really late, ironically enough.
You mean pretty early?
No, 10:30 Pacific Standard Time.
Also, like
PM,
Thursday
like,
for them, Wednesday for us.
Yeah, I think it's like Thursday 3 o'clock for them. It's hard finding a time that works for them because with IEM coming up too, it limits where we can actually run things. So tomorrow that may happen. It'll be Patience versus somebody for sure. I just don't know who yet. Outside of that, just typical stuff. Looking forward to the New Year's. Elima Leagues continue as well. That's about it. Just follow us on, come check it out, guys. Twitch.tv/BaseTradeTV.
Yeah. What about you, Nathanius? Even though we didn't cover Flag Master because we hate Swedish people.
It's fun. The tournament's actually progressed very interestingly. I'm upset you haven't covered it because we actually only have one Korean in the top 4. But
oh, nice! That's a very nice change.
Yeah, it's gonna be a nice payday for MMA. But
wow.
I mean,
way to build the hype, Nate. Way to build the hype.
Kappa HD. But no, it's actually been really cool. If you don't know what I've been doing, I guess I've been in Sweden for like close to 3 weeks now. I'm going to be doing, obviously, Fragbite Masters this Saturday. If you're European, it's going to be at 12:30 CET. If you're from the America, I feel sorry for you. You probably won't be able to watch it unless you stay up really, really late. Outside of that, streaming a lot. Actually, we have 3 days because they're flying all the players over. So I'll be streaming probably tonight after this, tomorrow.
Do you want me to host you?
Oh, sure, why not? Yeah, that sounds great. If Twitch is working right now.
It's working. What's up, Rotterdam?
Nate, I had a question. One thing I didn't get. What happened to Solar in your tournament?
So Solar actually thought he was going to win his group.
Yes.
He totally didn't expect to lose. So basically what happened was he was traveling to DreamHack on the day that he had to play his lower bracket match. And he was like, sorry, I can't do this. He's like, he's like, he knew he wouldn't be able to, but he told us like he was so confident that he was going to win because we played the winner bracket matches today that he was like, yeah, this won't be a problem. So that's why he had to forfeit. Yeah.
Okay.
So outside of that, you can follow me on Twitter at NathaniusTV and shout out to CyberPower PC for giving me a laptop I've been streaming on and playing games on. It's been pretty sick, and I've actually had no complaints, so yeah.
And yeah, so I guess that leaves me. Thank you guys for watching the show. If there's anything you want Remax to cover, because there's going to be some downtime, like after next week, after IEM San Jose, there's going to be like 1 or 2 dry weeks without tournaments, without Blizzard announcing the 2015 map pool or the WCS schedule. So if you want a special episode, like, you know, content creators, Koreans, grandpas such as, you know, Whitera, Red, like, you know, old pro gamers, if you want something special, let me know. I have a few ideas. I've talked to a few people to make it happen. To make something fresh and interesting. And, you know, at the end of the day, the show's for you guys, the community. No one's paid on the show. We're still in the red when it comes to graphics. So if you want to support, buy a shirt. You know, I'm not going to become homeless if you don't buy a shirt, so don't be pressured. I'm just saying, like, everyone who's doing the show is doing it for you guys because we want to provide a quality talk show about the game, and if there's anything I can do to improve, whether it's about my hosting or anything like that, feel free to let me know on Reddit. The VODs will be posted tomorrow on Reddit, but they're already being uploaded as we speak on YouTube. So yeah, thank you again for watching the show. We'll see you guys next week, and I'll be hosting Nathanius in just a second. So thank you guys. See you guys next week.
Peace.
See you.
Bye.
Alright guys, I gotta run.